Folks, good evening and welcome back to this week's edition of the Snakebite. I'm John Kristovich with James Simpson, and we thank you so much for tuning in with us here once again here at FSC TV for our weekly sports show. Boy, it has been a packed couple weeks in Mocs and athletics. We're happy to be back. Here's this week's edition of the Snakebite. Once again, folks, welcome back to the Snakebite. As I said, it has been a busy couple weeks, so let's get going. Let's take a look at some of our scores here. I believe we'll get going with the baseball and softball teams, and boy, a lot of W's in those columns. Go ahead and pause your screen there and take it in its full glory. And we'll go ahead and move on to our next slate of games. Another look at all these victories. Once again, go ahead and take the pause. We got a lot there going on there with ice hockey, women's lacrosse, men's lacrosse. And let's go take a look at the most recent matchups here for the Moccasins in beach volleyball, women's tennis, and men's tennis. Go ahead, pause your screen, take it in. Look at all these W's for women's, men's tennis, beach volleyball getting their season started. It's great stuff.
Yeah, and to go a little more in depth, we're going to start off with swim, who made a splash in Indiana competing at nationals this past week. The men's team opened the NCAA Division II Swimming Championships with a 14th place finish in the 800 free relay on Tuesday night at the IU Natatorium. A team of Keith Peristeritos, Nico Frisi, Brandon Wilson, and Elder Oliveira finished the relay in 6 minutes 37 seconds flat and 14th place finish. Matteo Zampisi highlighted day 2 of the NCAA Swimming Championship with a national runner-up finish in the 200 IM in Wednesday evening's finals. Zampisi set a new Sunshine State Conference and FSC record with a time of 1 minute 45.06 seconds in the A finals. The men's team earned the 11th place finish after sending 5 individuals and 3 relay squads to the national stage. The women placed 32nd overall at the NCAA finals, and FSC finished the last day of competition by competing in the 400 free relay as the last event. The team of Erin McCann, Elizabeth Sykes, Olivia Miles, and Allie Branton finished with a time of 3 minutes 32.59 seconds, good for 18th in the finals. The highlight was an overall 16th place finish for Olivia Miles in the 1,650 free after finishing with a time of 17 minutes 5.67 seconds, 14 seconds faster than her seeded time. I just can't imagine swimming for that long. And in relays, FSC had an honorable mention All-American finish in the opening 800 free relay event behind a team of McCann, Miles, Sykes, and Brinton. The women also saw a program record broken as Brinton lowered her own 200 fly school record with a time of 2 minutes 3.91 seconds.
Well, I mean, you alluded to it, James. They're in the pool every single day. It's tough stuff, but congratulations, hard work paying off. Boy, they're swimming even on days like today. It's almost freezing out there, 50 degrees. Anyways, well, let's take a look at the Mocs baseball team. They're back in action here tonight in chilly Lakeland, Florida. They've officially surpassed their 2018 win streak with 14 wins in a row coming into tonight's matchup. Throughout spring break, the team put up some dominant performances against Kentucky Wesleyan and Seton Hill, but their last 2 wins have not come as easily. They've scraped by with 2 one-run wins against Indiana University of Pennsylvania here earlier on this week. Over the break, Jeff LaCorey became the first Moc to hit home runs in consecutive at-bats this season, and newcomer transfer Jevin Relaford tallied 2 triples in 1 contest. He's the first Moc to accomplish this feat since February of 2016. Boy, a whole season of firsts. Our own Billy Adams had a chance to talk to Jevin Relaford after the game.
I'm here with shortstop Jevin Relaford of the Florida Southern Moccasins. Jevin, a great performance tonight, not only getting 2 hits and a couple RBIs, but making some outstanding plays in the infield at shortstop. And you come from a community college out in Santa Fe. How's that been different so far in the adjustment with D2 baseball?
Right now I'm just enjoying it, honestly, first off. But the game, it has sped up a little bit. The competition, the pitchers can spot a little more. They're throwing 2 to 3 pitches, so you got to go up there with the right approach every time, which in JUCO you can probably get away with it a little more, but right here you definitely got to stay to your approach. So the game itself is definitely sped up, but overall I feel like I've been adjusting pretty well.
And at this point, you guys are sitting at 12-4, atop of the Sunshine State Conference, and riding a 10-game winning streak. You guys have certainly clicked after starting 1-3. How do you continue this momentum moving forward, especially when you pick up an SSC play in a week or so?
The way our team chemistry, I would say, is like the best thing that's keeping this going. We're all connected. We're all playing games before. We're all there for each other. We have each other's back no matter what. I would say we play like hacky sack, football, spike ball before the game, so we're all having fun before games, and we just try to take that into the game and then focus up. And honestly, we're trying to keep that going forward, and if we can, it would be it.
Well, the Mocs are sitting atop the Sunshine State Conference, and Jevin and the gang look to continue moving forward with that. I'm Billy Adams here at FSC TV. Back to you guys.
Spike ball before the games. Boy, we should try doing that before these. Well, either way, in the wake of the Mocs' dominant spring break week, 𝙏𝙃𝙀 received recognition from the Sunshine State Conference as the Baseball Player of the Week. The team carries the success with them heading into their next matchups, the first being the third game of the series against Indiana University of Pennsylvania, 6 p.m. tonight. For live stats and final results, you can visit fscmocs.com or come visit us at Henley Field. Next on the docket for Florida Southern is a series against the number 2 ranked University of Tampa, Sunshine State Conference rival that is sure to test the chemistry that this team has found on the field. The series will take place over the course of Friday and Saturday here at historic Henley Field. Last year, the Mocs upset Tampa, also ranked number 2 at the time in the contest, 7-2. They split a doubleheader with the Spartans to claim the conference series win. And James, Mocsons, 9 national championships in their history. Tampa, 8. But who's counting?
I'm really excited for those games. I'll be there all 3 games. And now moving on to the slightly smaller diamond. It's been 9 games since we've updated you on the softball team. Since the beginning of spring break, the softball team has split a series with Wilmington and Landers College while dropping 2 of 3 to SSC competition Florida Tech. Last night, they returned to the Chris Bellato Field for a doubleheader versus Post University. Game 1 saw the Mocs put up 8, with Ashley Blessing pitching her first shutout of the season. Blessing in her 12th appearance through 7 innings, striking out 3 and walking 3 as she moved to 5-4 through 26 games. Game 2 was a totally different story, though, as the Mocs trailed 3-1 for half of the game before catcher Destiny Colgate brought 2 runs in at the bottom of the 5th to help take a 5-3 lead. But things continued to be a little dicey as Lady Rivera for Post tied the ball game up once again for a 5-5 score in the 6th inning. Bottom of the 7th rolls around, though. Taylor Thomas, thanks to a couple of sacrifices, she makes her way to third, and freshman Kelly Keating becomes the unsung hero, hitting an infield single to push the Mocs to victory 6-5 in Game 2 of their doubleheader. Billy Adams caught up with Keating after her game-winning hit.
I'm here with Mocs DP Kelly Keating. Kelly, you had an amazing walk-off hit tonight. You're a freshman, too, and it's the first time you've ever done something like this. Walk us through what happened.
Yeah, I just knew there was 2 outs. Destiny put a great bunt down. We had a great RBA to move the runner. I knew that I had to get the ball through the infield. I had to score that run, so I just really wanted to work on getting the ball on the ground and through, and it worked out.
And it certainly did, a 6-5 victory in Game 2. And you're a freshman, so not only is that the first time you've done that this season, but in your career as a Moccasin, what's the transition been like from high school to college?
It's definitely a lot different. It's definitely something that I've never really experienced, this type of work and this type of grind that the college experience has, but it's really fun just being out here like every single day with the team, and it definitely makes it a lot more fun at games and practice and everything. It's just the grind is fun.
Well, thank you for joining us. The Mocs pick up Game 13 for a win this season. They moved to 13-10 thanks to Kelly Keating's walk-off single. Back to you, gentlemen.
The Mocs improved to 13-10 as they host Hillsdale College for a 2-game series tonight over at the Chris Bellato Field at 5 and 7 p.m.
And over at Barron Field, right next door to Bellato, the women's lacrosse team, Lady Mocs, are red hot after another great showing this past Sunday, a 14-12 win over number 6 ranked Pace University, cementing the Mocs as the number 2 team in the country as of the time of this filming. We'll see where their ranking is by the end of this week. The statement win came after winning 3 games over spring break, 2 coming on the road up against Lee and Alabama Huntsville. They outscored their opponents by 25 over this spring break stretch. The Mocs remain unbeaten. They're 7-0 going into another slate of games versus ranked opponents. Their next 3 matchups, they will face the number 13 ranked team, number 22 ranked team, and number 24 ranked teams in all of Division II. Good news is, next 4 games for them will be at home before traveling to face 6-1 Tampa, what will be a competitive in-conference rivalry matchup on April 5th, and a likely preview for what we'll see in the Sunshine State Conference tournament.
Continuing to discuss great lacrosse performances, the men's lacrosse program really sticks out to the average fan. Sean Nolan and the gang picked up 3 straight wins over break, winning by a combined score of 73-19, capturing wins against Dominican, Clark, and Young Harris. Across that stretch of 3 games, Sean Nolan and Matt Flemensbeck's performances really shine. Nolan, the 5th-year senior, tallied 3 assists and 1 goal to capture the all-time points record in men's lacrosse history, passing Jeff Atlas, the previous record holder, at 230 total points. Nolan scored his 20th goal at the time to become the all-time record holder and currently sits at 238 total points with 9 games left in the regular season. Alberta, Canada native Matt Flemensbeck continued to put on a show during spring break, scoring 12 goals across the 3-game span. And with those wins, the Mocs now improved to 5-2, winners of their last 3. While the Mocs look to continue their dominant performance in their next matchup against Flagler College, set to take place this Friday at 7 p.m. over at Barron Field.
Exciting stuff. We talked about another team that's been doing well as of late. The men's golf team traveled to Valdosta, Georgia for the first Federal Southeastern Collegiate. Play wrapped up on Tuesday with Adam Alvarez finishing as the Mocs' top performer, tied for 9th overall at 2 under par. As a team, the Mocs placed 11th out of 18 very talented teams at the Invitational. They'll be back in action next week at the Bobcat Invitational in 𝙏𝙃𝙀 Georgia. The women's team was a little more local as they competed in the Peggy Kirk Bell Memorial in Orlando, Florida. There was a delay due to some unseasonably dreary weather, but the golf balls started to rain down and the competition was able to conclude on Tuesday. Mocs were led by Lauren Perez, per usual, tied for 10th at 9 over. They finished 10th as a team and will travel down to Miami Lakes next week to compete in the Barry U Women's Invitational.
And while we were all slacking off on a beach somewhere over spring break, the men's tennis team enjoyed their own time outside on the courts in the sun as they cruised through their opposition to bring their current win streak to an immense 7-game run. With 5 wins since we last spoke, their performance has earned the attention of the ITA in their most recent Division II poll, which ranked them 22nd in the nation. The Mocs also boast the impressive and competitive doubles pairings of Chris Falcao and Mateo Fegi, who are ranked 8th in the nation as a duo, and are the only representatives from the SSC in the ITA national rankings. Sitting at a 10-3 record right now and just breaking into double-digit wins, the Mocs will be striving to extend this impressive streak with their 3 upcoming home matches this week as they're taking on number 48 nationally ranked Thomas Jefferson University right about now, as well as Bentley University on Thursday starting at 3 p.m. and number 44 nationally ranked Washburn University at 2 p.m. to close out the week on Sunday, all right here at the Winnie Worden Tennis Center before they receive a week of well-deserved rest.
And hey, Rhett Rollison's club doing a great job over there, but do not look at the women's team lightly. They have now moved on to a 9-game win streak following their victory over the Indiana University of Pennsylvania last night, which adds to their impressive 9-2 record this year. Lady Mocs went undefeated in their annual trip to Hilton Head, South Carolina over spring break before returning home to Lakeland to earn another victory. This string of victories has moved them up to number 19 in the most recent ITA national rankings, up from their previous spot of 24, so big movers are the Moccasins. Olivia Bryant is the 60th best Division II singles player in the nation right now, boasting a 9-match win streak for her own right, while Florida Southern's #1 doubles pairing Maxima Ellenberg and Laura Vetter hold an 8-match win streak, which has earned them the spot as the 39th best Division II doubles pairing in women's tennis. Lady Mocs will be hopeful they can bring their win streak and their win column to double digits as they return to action on Thursday when they face Bentley University and then the number 22 nationally ranked University of Nebraska-Kearney on Friday. Both those matchups set to take place here in Lakeland, as it's going to be pretty busy here at the Winnie Worden Tennis Center. And next week the Mocs will have a real test when they travel to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. They take on their SSC rival, number 3 nationally ranked Nova Southeastern University. And in volleyball news, beach volleyball that is, the team had an impressive week in Montgomery, Alabama, picking up their first wins of the year as they participated in the Huntington Beach Bash. Lady Mocs picked up their first pair of wins to open up the tournament on Friday morning. They went 3-2, earning straight victories in the number 3, 4, and 5 flights. The team concluded the Huntington Beach Bash today with a 1-1 split as the Moccasins fell to the University of Tennessee Chattanooga 4-1 before they earned another 3-2 victory over Jacksonville State. Mocs will return home with a 4-7 record overall, and they traveled down to Palm Beach to battle out against Florida International and Palm Beach Atlantic. Mocs unfortunately fell 4-1 against both teams, but they will look to get back on track. They host Stevenson University and St. John's River Community College this weekend, looking to get back in the win column.
And the Mocs men's hockey team, heading from the sun to the ice, has had a busy few weeks with postseason play, landing a second-place spot in the 𝙏𝙃𝙀 Cup last weekend and then traveling to Philadelphia to compete in the AAU College Hockey National Championship. During the 𝙏𝙃𝙀 Cup, the Mocs defeated the University of Florida 12-2 and Embry-Riddle 5-1. The Mocs did drop their finals matchup against rival University of Tampa 8-4 for second overall. In Philadelphia, the Mocs upset Niagara University, winning 3-2, and continued their underdog story with another upset against Farmingdale State 7-4. The Mocs then lost to Widener, and this led to a three-way tie that was decided by goals allowed during pool play. Because of that, the Mocs allowed 12 goals, while Widener and Farmingdale State both allowed only 10. The Mocs didn't move on, and that was the end of their great season.
Tough break for the Mocs, getting their season cut short on a tiebreaker, but with both swim and hockey now done and dusted, we're officially putting a close to Mocs Winter Sports with a deep cut of Mocs trivia. This week in Mocs history, we look at 2010, 2011, and 2012 when Jeb Halfaker won the 200 breaststroke national championship. He's the Sunshine State Conference Swimmer of the Decade, the only Mocs swimmer to three-peat in 3 consecutive years. No national champions this year for the Mocs, I mean, despite all the accolades they did achieve, but hey, maybe next year. Well, I'll tell you what, we've got a lot to look forward to, not only this week, but the rest of the year. Lacrosse, tennis, baseball, all looking to continue their dominant seasons. A bunch of the other teams looking to continue their push here as we reach the midway point of this spring season. It's a great time to be a fan of moccasin athletics, and it's an even better time to be able to cover it. Boy, we really are blessed. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm John Kristovich with James Simpson saying thank you so much for tuning in to FSC TV. It's good to be back. We will see you next Wednesday at 5.